Welcome to this LEX 18 digital conversation. I'm Dia Davidson. You know, there's still plenty of summer fun to be had with things like trips to the pool and backyard picnics, but there are some things that you need to consider to keep you and your kids safe. So joining us to talk about that is nurse practitioner Molly Hawley with Kentucky One Health. Welcome.
Thank you.
You know, sometimes we get so excited about having fun, we forget about being safe.
Yes.
And so then we have to make trips to see you to get us all patched back up. So what are some of the things that, you know, sort of the first line things that you think that we need to remember when we're trying to have fun in the summertime?
Well, we still have several months, or another month or so, and several weeks to have backyard barbecues and backyard swimming parties. So there are several things that we think of starting there. One, if you're going to be around the swimming pool, or your children are going to be around the swimming pool, it's very important to never leave them unattended.
Yes.
Because
it really doesn't take that much water for a small child to drown. Isn't it like 2 inches?
Yes, it is about 2 inches of water
gosh.
that a small child can drown.
Right.
And I think if we're used to being around the pool, sometimes we may trust our kids a little bit more, but they really don't have the common sense that we have.
Or we hope to have.
That we
sometimes.
hope to have.
So now the floaties, are these really good, especially for young swimmers, little swimmers?
Yes, young swimmers, probably, well, there's weight limits on each of these.
And it has a chest pad, too,
It has
right?
a chest pad.
Okay.
That goes over the chest, and then their arms fit through here. They keep the smaller children up very nicely.
Okay.
You can also use the traditional life vest that you think of when that have been around forever.
Sure.
They use when boating or in the pool. Those are very good as well.
But now my daughter hates to have the little snap that goes
Oh,
between
yeah.
the legs. But I'm like, no, because that's the one thing I can usually grab to pull her back, right?
That's true. That's true. These don't have that, but they do keep the child up nicely. So, and then if you can use the other floaties too that don't have either of the straps when the kids get a little bit bigger, if they're weak swimmers but learning. But still, it's always good to have on around the pool. And then the basic safety things: no running around the pool and glass around the pool. But yeah, kids can drown very quickly.
And really, anybody could drown if they don't know how to swim and they're in too
Yes.
deep of water. But now, if we're outside and we're out in the summer fun, sunscreen is important for everybody. It doesn't matter the hue, right?
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
So it's recommended for everyone if you're going to be out in the sun for, I think it's 15 minutes or more.
Right.
So and an SPF of 30 is a good place to start, where you have both UVA and UVB coverage. So we want to prevent burns, especially on our young ones.
Sure. But now some of them tout, you know, SPF 100. Is there such a thing? Or is that a marketing kind of a thing?
You may get a little bit more
Right.
protection,
Right.
but most of the stuff literature I've read is 30, and then how much more you get beyond that
Is debatable.
is debatable.
Okay. Eye protection. We got to keep the eyes protected as well. So we need sunglasses.
We need sunglasses.
Yeah.
Even putting your children in sunglasses is a good idea. I never wore sunglasses really growing up, and need to now. But
Well, sunglasses and the other kind of glasses
the
as
other
we get a
kind.
little older. But now with the solar eclipse coming up, a lot of people think, oh, well, you know, I could probably get a quick glance or use my sunglasses or what have you. But that's not really such a good idea, is it?
I would think not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so to
no.
try to get the special ones.
I would go ahead and get the special glasses and
Indeed.
any of the bright light.
Indeed. Okay, so we've been in the pool, we've had a good time, and now we want to go outside and barbecue.
Okay.
What are some of the things we need to do to protect ourselves from the little creepy crawlers and any other creepy crawler?
We still recommend bug spray to prevent mosquitoes and ticks if you're outdoors this summer. So we still recommend bug spray that has DEET in it.
Right.
Sometimes there's been controversy over that. If people want to use a more natural approach, I think lemon eucalyptus is another ingredient that is in some bug sprays that seem to be effective.
And you know, Avon Skin So Soft. will sometimes keep it off, and that's kind of what we use too. But the citronella candles,
if you're out in
really
the
work.
evenings, especially, you know, you could have that on your table, and that will help. Or, you know, there's the torches as well. I mean, depending on where you are and what you're doing, but
Right. Okay, and then also, I guess if we're out there, we need to keep the hands nice and clean, and so Kentucky One, of course, has their hand sanitizer, but any kind of hand sanitizer really would.
yeah, if you're out having a pitch-in or a barbecue or whatnot, a couple of things. One, it's if you do not have access to just regular soap and water, you want to use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, 60% or more.
Sure.
Of alcohol. So that's important as we're all handling each other's food.
Sure.
And then it's very important if you have perishable foods out, try not to leave those out more than 2 hours. 2 hours is your window.
Yeah.
If it's hot out, 90 degrees or so, you don't really want to leave out more than about an hour.
So what, have a cooler with some ice and keep potato
everything
salad and things like that cool?
Mm-hmm.
What about meats on the grill? Some people like their stuff rare where it's still winking and mooing, and other people like it well done where it's almost like leather. So how do you make sure that it's just right so that it's safe for consumption?
You can always get yourself a thermometer to use, a grill thermometer. Most meats, most ground meats, pork and beef, they say 160 degrees.
Okay.
So if you want to be
Safe. Right.
I think chicken is 165.
Okay.
Now, not everybody likes their meats
All the way to the
all
one
the
extreme.
way done, but I do.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
Um,
I said if it moves and it winks or it clucks, I'm not really happy with it.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're outside, we're having fun, but you know, you got to get the grass taken care of. And so you had a suggestion about ear protection.
Yes, it's very important when you're mowing the yard to do what other things we consider common sense, but it's not always if you're in a hurry or trying to mow the yard. So paying attention for small children around you. If you're mowing in a new area, watching for flying rocks and sticks that are coming out of the mower.
Even the terrain, I guess, to make sure that the terrain, especially if you're on a riding mower versus even one of those.
Then a push mower.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Indeed. And never let a
absolutely.
kid, I guess, get on.
Never let a kid get on a mower.
Yeah, but you said
but
ear protection.
Yes, so when we're mowing, the decibels of the lawnmower are really quite loud.
Okay.
And so you can always get ear protection to wear. You can even get the little individual ear protection to wear.
But some people are going to use their earbuds to their smartphones or what have you. You were saying, right?
You could use the earbuds, but do not turn the music on with it because
That's no fun.
the chances are you're making the music louder than even the lawnmower is going so that you can hear.
Sure.
And that is really not good on our ears.
And I guess concentration too. You're concentrating more on the beat of the music than the steps that you need to take to be safe.
Right.
Okay, so we're mowing the grass. We've had something to eat. We've got our hands clean. We're not burning. Our kids are in the water. And maybe they want to go. There you go. There you go. And maybe they want to go for a ride. But it's hot. These are hot.
That's right. So bicycle safety, skateboard safety is very important. Children always need to have a helmet. Adults always need to have a helmet, I think.
But a lot of us like to cock it back because it doesn't look really glamorous with it that way. But that's not really the right way to do it.
Right.
Is
A
it?
frontal injury can be just as bad as one in the back.
Right.
So we need to wear our helmets properly where it covers the front of our forehead and to the back of our heads. And you want to fit the child before leaving the store. They might not like that in the store, but make sure that it fits.
Right.
If they're riding skateboards and scooters and things, you could even do knee pads and elbow pads and wrist guards especially if they're inexperienced.
Sure. But it cuts down on the scrapes and bruises. Even though you might look like the overprotective hover parent, you're really not. You're really protecting your child from serious harm.
Yeah, yes, especially when it comes to the helmets. A head injury, sometimes you can't fix the outcomes of those, whereas generally your wrist will heal if you break it. However,
Right.
no one wants that.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
But you want to be
head injury,
preventative instead of reacting to it.
Absolutely.
And then a lot of people don't realize that the cushions on the inside help to fit it as well. Sometimes you pull them out and you don't realize that can actually help to secure it a lot better.
If it comes with the pieces, they generally need to stay
in there.
For it to be effective. So yes, and then instructing your children where to ride safely, if you're allowing them to cross the street or not. That's all very important. Watching for cars as they're backing out of driveways. Still generally considered kids 10 and under. It's still safer to ride on the sidewalk than the road. But older people, adults and whatnot, you ride with the flow of the traffic.
Right.
So.
And I guess probably not a bad idea to walk the path with the children so you can make
Oh,
sure
absolutely.
the sidewalk is free of any type of obstruction or something like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, indeed. And we were talking about it, and usually we see these courtesy of, you know, the custodial staff saying, you know,
Yes.
be careful, the floor is wet. But these are really good. Where can you find something like this that says slow children at play?
I have found this at off of Amazon, actually. So I got mine off of Amazon. And there's others that I think you can buy at, you know, Walmart and other retail stores. But I have found putting this out in the, the sidewalk
Yeah.
and on the road, actually, where you would, some cars would park, is really helpful. I've noticed it deters
The speeding?
faster driving, the speeding.
Exactly.
So I use it in our neighborhood, and you can watch people slow down. And it makes me feel better is, you know, my kids and the neighbors' kids are out in the cul-de-sac all running around, you know.
Sure. First aid kits at home. What do you think, besides the trusty Band-Aids, what do you think should be in the at-home kit? And at what point do you say, my at-home kit is not enough and I need to get to the ER?
Right. What should be in the at-home kit? First of all, you should probably wash off any abrasion or scrape to see what you're dealing with. Sure. So with just warm soap and water. Right. And if it's not too deep or a puncture wound, and you can bandage it without it soaking through the Band-Aids. Right. Then it's probably okay to treat at home. But you'd want to apply pressure, which a Band-Aid does, and make sure the bleeding has stopped.
Maybe use something like Bactine to cut down on some of the bacteria? You
can use something like Bactine, or put some Neosporin antimicrobial ointment on it. However, soap and water, if that's all you have, is really great. Yeah, it's really... Yeah, and it won't be harsh on the skin where, like, an alcohol, you probably don't want to put an alcohol-based,
no, because that's going to really burn.
Something or other on the skin, it'll burn, your kid will throw a fit.
Okay, but suppose I've fallen and I've got a big bump. Ice, or is that something, if you start to see it swell, it needs to go to the ER? Kind of depends.
If, as far as the head and whatnot, if the child is acting appropriately, the bump is coming out as opposed to coming in. Out is better than in.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
On the head.
I didn't know.
Generally.
Okay.
Okay. And the child is acting okay to the ER. If there's a laceration that you can't get to stop bleeding, or it's over, you know, a quarter of an inch, and needs a stitch.
May need some stitching.
Yeah.
I guess keep them up for a little bit of time. Don't let them go to sleep or lay down.
Keep them up for a little bit of a time. That's changed a little bit over the years, where you don't have to keep them up, you know, a really long time. But whatever's more typical to the child's behavior. So if you have a child, you know, a younger child that's going to nap at 2 o'clock and, and they're starting to get really cranky.
Let them go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, you can let them go ahead, but, you know, keep an eye out and make sure that they're getting up and, you know, not vomiting when they get up. That's another sign of a head injury or concussion, nausea, vomiting. Or if they're saying that their head really hurts. So.
Now, one last thing, what about burns? If we accidentally burn ourselves on the grill or stove or something like that, when, you know, they always talk about first degree, second degree, third degree, what kind of burn can we take care of at home, and what kind of burn do we need to get to the hospital?
If you start to blister, then you need to think that you're getting into second and third degree burns, more serious burns. So, and then that kind of depends on if what's on your face or chest and how much is on you. You want to go to the nearest emergency department or urgent treatment center, you know, if it's after hours of your regular primary care. So it's more the amount of burn on your body that's worrisome.
And I guess where, and I guess the thickness of
and
the
the
skin.
thickness of the skin.
Gotcha. Molly, thank you so very much for stopping by. Some great things that are typically we think common sense, but sometimes in the moment we kind of forget it. So
It's always nice to have a reminder. Thank you for having me.
Indeed. And we want to thank you for watching this LEX18 digital conversation. Be sure to follow us on lex18.com for more digital conversations. I'm Dia Davidson. Until next time.